In this video I'm talking about self-awareness. Now a lot of the time when we think we're being self-aware, in fact we're just being aware of a situation. So self-awareness is having that conscious understanding of one's own emotions and feelings. Awareness, however, is having that perception and understanding of a situation. So in what happens in a lot of cases is that we think that we're being self-aware when in fact it is just this awareness happening. So, for example, you go to the shop and you buy some chocolate. Now it's against your kind of best judgment. You are thinking, no, that's it, I don't want to eat chocolate, but you have these cravings and so you go and buy chocolate and then you feel frustrated at yourself. Now you have awareness of the situation because you understand what's happened, but do you have self-awareness? Do you have the understanding of why you feel that way, why you have these emotions, why you have these feelings? And because do you have this sense of lack of self-discipline? Do you have this sense of out of control? You know, if you experience those, that's where the lack of self-awareness comes from. So what we try and do is when we think we're being self-aware and we want to make changes, we deal with it on a very superficial level. We deal with it on a very surface level. So we'll go, right, that's it. No longer will I go to the shop and buy chocolates. And so you set this in your mind and exactly the same. You have this awareness of what you're doing throughout the day. You know, you go about your business, but as soon as it comes to those emotions, as soon as it comes to those feelings, as soon as it comes to all the information being directed to the monkey part of your brain, you know, to your basic survival drive, that's where we lack the self-awareness. The self-awareness is the next level, like the human part of your brain, you know, and so being able to understand that and rationalize that and be observant of your own thoughts. If you've ever meditated, they talk about being observant of the sensations in your body, being observant of the thoughts that come in, not to challenge them, not to question them, not to think about them, but being an observer, and that is self-awareness. So why is it a problem not having this kind of deep understanding of self-awareness? Well, this is it, because this is the thing that causes this stress and anxiety and, you know, those feelings of low mood, those feelings of this out of control, this feeling of never being able to achieve your goals and setting yourself substandard goals of what you actually can achieve. And that's because you feel you can't challenge yourself. You feel like you won't be able to succeed, when really this is what it comes down to, is getting a grip and understanding what's going on in your mind. So with this lack of self-awareness, then this can be, you know, torment you for years and years and years. And this is the thing that causes you a great deal of emotional stress and pain, because you just don't understand your own mind. And so, you know, for many of us, you have to think of it in this kind of way. We do self-sabotage as well, which we will discuss at a later date. But self-awareness is a key to overcoming self-sabotage. You know, think of it, when you're in physical pain, you will do what it takes as quick as you possibly can do to get out of physical pain. When you're in emotional pain, we will go about this for years without seeking any kind of help, you know, without seeking any kind of assistance or trying to overcome this. You know, we will go for years and years in mental anguish and turmoil. And, you know, when really we can take some quite small steps to help really open up this bigger picture and, you know, start taking positive steps towards long-lasting change, which is ultimately something that will make you very, very happy down the line. So self-awareness very much can be a game changer, and it very much crosses over with a lot of the self-development world, okay, and health and fitness does the same as well. They all support one another. You know, the nutrition supports your body, how you feel, you know, supports your mental well-being, but also at the same time you do have this other side. Remember, you've got the habits, you've got the survival instinct, and then you've got you as a human. You've got all of this going on in your brain, all of these conflicting brain waves, all of these conflicting patterns, and not everything that's in there is easy to overcome because they are so deeply ingrained in you. But having this self-awareness is key. And this was one of the things that helped change a lot for me as well, is just starting observing. I, off the back of competing, I really started to understand that, I didn't have the greatest self-discipline around food. And that's been an ongoing struggle. And one of the biggest ways to overcome that is to have this self-awareness. Anything that you say, as soon as you say that you are going to cut out chocolate, this is how to know if you've got self-awareness, okay? As soon as you say, ask yourself now, I'm going to cut out chocolate, I'm never going to eat chocolate again. What were those immediate thoughts that popped into your head? Are you even aware of those thoughts? Are you even aware that, that's a different part of your brain firing? Guaranteed for the majority of you, as soon as you said, I'm going to stop eating chocolate, your brain was like, you're right, I'm never going to stop eating chocolate. Is she crazy? That's insane. Who can stop eating chocolate? Why would you want to stop eating chocolate? I love chocolate. And all of these thoughts will be going on in your head, and you're just like, yeah, that's right. I do love chocolate. Yeah, no, that's it. I'm never going to cut chocolate. What's she talking about? I couldn't cut chocolate if I tried. And so then all of a sudden, you've got this it's almost like the devil and the angel. So you've got the human guy outside going, actually, do you know what? Logically, I don't really need chocolate. I enjoy eating it, so, I tend to have it in my diet. But then it makes me really sad because I can't control myself around it. So that's your kind of logical human brain. Then you've got this little dark, a figure sitting on your shoulder, and it's like, what's she talking about? Why would you want to cut out chocolate? That's ridiculous. Don't listen to her. You'll never be able to stick to it. And that's the pig, the tune, that's that survival instinct where it's like, I need food, I need energy to survive. But do you see, that's been going on, but did you even pay attention to that? No, you just accepted as a two, as one. So understanding that there's different areas of your brain sending you different signals and trying to communicate with you, and you can understand that, that logically you don't need chocolate, but this other side of you is telling you that, why would you give it up? Why would you want to give it up? When really, when you take a step back and think, chocolate's my downfall, not necessarily for you as an individual, but in many cases, if you think chocolate's my downfall, it makes me sad, it makes me happy for an instant, but it makes me sad long term because I can't control myself around it, then really, why would you, or why do you want it in your diet? If you can keep it in small portions, then fine. But it is all about this. It's about testing. It's about having this self-awareness, observing your thoughts. Every time you get a craving, what is it that's going on in your head? Observe it. What does it feel like? Why do you need to give into it straight away? Just listening to these thoughts, just being a quiet observer of the thoughts that come into your mind, pass out of your mind, can give you so much power in then trying to understand them. As soon as you get that chocolate craving, if you give into it, that's not you being self-aware. That is you just giving into a craving, okay? But so next time you have a craving, just sit, feel it, feel your body, listen to it. What's it saying to you? Why do you want this craving? Why do you have this craving? Why do you want this food? Or, what is it that, next time you can't be bothered to work out, or you've got an excuse, or you're too tired, listen to your thoughts, listen to them. Just be an observer of it, just listen to, be aware and challenge it and think, why do I feel like that? What is it? And why? You've probably heard of the 5 whys. Ask yourself why 5 times. Why do I have this craving? Why do I like it? What does it do for me? Just keep asking yourself why. And it's quite interesting, and that's where a lot of the things like mindful eating as well comes from, and it's when you stop and think about your food, it changes everything. Having this self-awareness of your food, think about where the food comes from. You're about to shove a chocolate bar or a packet of crisps down your throat, and absent-mindedly, you're aware of what's happening, but are you self-aware? Okay, so think about the food, think about, why do you want to eat these crisps? And then think about where the food comes from. Okay, so we know, the crisps kind of came from potatoes, but then think about the processing and the manufacturing around it. Taking those moments to think about a bigger picture, reflect on why you want something, why you're thinking something is a game changer. When you suddenly start to think about how processed a certain food is, like, I guarantee you, like, a lot of the time you will just be like, actually, I don't really know if I want this. Whereas if you had a handful of nuts in front of you, you might feel very differently. Actually, do you know what? These are like fair trade nuts. You know, these have come from this place, you know, they're supporting this community or something like that. As soon as you start thinking about food in a different light, again, that opens up. But yeah, really do think about, listen to what you're saying. Don't just accept the thoughts that pop into your head. Listen to them, try and understand them. Okay, even if you have no understanding of them right now, the first step is just being aware of the thoughts that you're thinking rather than you just having thoughts. So the last section was a little bit of a ramble. So just to kind of recap, so steps for success is just spend, like, ask yourself some questions. Ask yourself that question, you know, about chocolate. You know, ask yourself, say to yourself, I'm going to cut out chocolate. See what thoughts pop to your mind and observe them. That's what you got to do. Next time you don't feel like working out, observe the thoughts. You know, just observe them at the stage. Listen to the thoughts that come into your brain, okay? Once you start becoming aware of the cravings, becoming aware of the negativity that pops into your brain, aware of the challenging thoughts, the self-sabotage, you know, as soon as you just become aware of them, then the next step is to start challenging them, like start asking why, go to that next level of deeper understanding. But really this first step is just to literally just be an observer of the thoughts and just become aware of them coming and going in your brain, you know, and understand that it's not you, it's that human rational side. I understand that these are thoughts from habit or thoughts from a survival instinct, okay? So that's where a lot of it, deep ingrained, you know, cultural beliefs or, you know, that kind of survival instinct that's going on with you. So challenge all of it. Be aware of your emotions. Question those emotions. Especially if any of you have got a lot of stress going on in your life, you know, question that feeling around stress. What is it? What's this stress? Where's it coming from? Why do I feel like this? You know, there is a really powerful statement that, you know, when you have fear, when you have anxiety in your life, when you feel anxious, stressed, a lot of the time that's you living in the future, and it's not necessarily real. These things haven't happened. They're your fear of what could happen in the future, not what actually is happening. And the same when you live in the past, which a lot of you do, when you feel down about things, when you feel guilt, you know, perhaps about how you've ended in a situation where you feel unhealthy, you know, when you feel shame, guilt, sadness, remorse, you know, all of those things are you thinking about the past, things that have come and gone, or your perception of the past. So just remember that those feelings are associated with something that no longer exists, and that fear and anxiety is fear of something that doesn't even exist yet or may potentially never exist. So a lot of the time when we experience these kind of these thoughts, just remember that, like, there is no real reason to be sad, there is no real reason to be stressed about a lot of things, because again, it's fear of the future. Maybe it's fear of you not completing work on time, you know, maybe it's fear of other people's perceptions of you, you know, these things are also self-created imagination. So just remember that, like, live in the moment, take each day as it comes, and just have that self-awareness of the thoughts that come